Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to an episode of the Rally Podcast. I say welcome back, but really it's not a welcome back. It's like a hey, we're starting anew because I don't think we recorded a podcast in quite a while. But getting 2020 off right now. I'm Mike White alongside Sean Boyer and Lo Cornelius. May have some new listeners, so I want each of you to share a quick 12-second blurb about you.
Go for it, Logan.
Logan Cornelius, from Texas, but recently moved out to the West Coast, living in Oakland, and balling out here. Been playing for a while and love the sport.
That was probably exactly 12 seconds. That was pretty good, Logan.
I got a good timer in my head.
Sean Boyer, been playing for quite a while. Used to team as Chico Spikeball, and that was ages ago. So now I just kind of hit up some tournaments, have some fun. But I'm out in San Francisco, and you might see him at a tournament.
Cool. And I'm Mike White, formerly the pole guy, and like to talk about roundnet sometimes. But I'm excited about this. 2020 coming at you, but we're going to start with a quick reflection of 2019. I wanted to discuss with these guys, reflecting on our favorite matches of 2019. Logan asked if it's what ones you've played in or ones you've watched, and I let him know that no one really cares about the ones he's played in. So we'll go with ones you've watched.
It's true. I'm not going first, so someone else go. I got to think about it.
I'll get one of the obvious ones out of the way. The finals match of the national championship last year was just a total barn burner. Two heavyweight teams going at it. So that was, I think, a great way, just a culmination of the whole season coming to an end there. That was definitely a top five for me.
Yeah, that has to be the easy favorite. Just, I think it was inherently exciting because it was the national championship, and then it just was a good match as well. So it wasn't just like, hey, it's the finals, this is exciting. It was or just, hey, it's a good match. It was the culmination of everything with the huge show court, all people cheering on, and actually the intensity of the match was, it was wonderful. And but I want
just
to
the
ask,
atmosphere.
do you think it was the most exciting finals we've ever had?
I'd say it's up there for sure.
But is it number one? So I think, right? So the first finals, probably not exciting. Chico Beavers. Second finals, not that exciting either. Chico Strange. Strange was this kind of unknown team to a lot non-West Coasters at the time, but they didn't put up much of a fight. And then, of course, Two Guys Chico. That was exciting. I mean, that's probably up there with the other one. Not for Sean, though. And then
First podcast of the year, and we're already talking about the
always talking about
2016
Chico.
finals.
And then,
But no, I would agree. That was like an exciting one, but I think it was more just like a surprise element than like there's definitely good points in it, but everyone's just caught off guard with the outcome, which made it exciting.
That makes sense.
There was good crowd involvement there as well. Like people were getting excited, and like those plays were building the hype of it too.
Yeah, it was. I think it was similar to this year, except adding that all the Two Guys was really good at the time. It wasn't like this 1-2 match that we were like we had in 2019, right? It was like a good match, really tight, really close. The upset factor, of course, but it was a little different as far as the atmosphere. And then, hey, biased, I loved the 2017 Nationals, Spicy Ruby versus CS.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that might be second for me, just because they took a game off of them. Everyone was kind of starting to think, oh, they might actually like pull this off. Yeah. And it was just really engaging.
It was also like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
So that was such a late night.
Yeah.
The whole day led up to just like a crazy finals.
But I mean, biased. I loved that one.
that one's probably number 3 for me, at least Nationals finals as far as they go.
And then 2018 was a standard 2-game CS win. Nothing crazy there. But so I think those are definitely the top 3. 2015, 2017, and 2019, which means we're gonna have a boring finals this year. But anyway, what other exciting ones? I wanted to say Nashville, but not CS losing. But the finals, Boisterous and Moctega, because I was
took that one
commentating
from
that
me.
one, and I stole that from you.
Yeah, you stole it
Oh,
from me. Now
all
I
right,
gotta
you
look
can
for
talk
another.
about it. You got it. You can talk about it.
No, you go for it. You're already going. I'm not gonna.
I would say, like,
cut
I
you
was
off.
commentating. I think you can hear in the first game, I'm just, like, very much doubting Moctega, because they got demolished by Boisterous earlier in the season in Seattle, and of course they've improved over the time, but I just kind of expected that again. And then so for Moctega to win was so cool for me. And kind of seeing Boisterous a little lost and frustrated after they did the same to CS a little earlier. It's really cool to see that parity in the game.
Yeah, and just the surprise factor that was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I may pull one. This is one I saw and watched. I mean, I think the Dallas tour stop was fun just because it was flexible. Kind of a lot of people weren't sure about them.
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't come on the scene and showing up and just show them they were who they were, and they were a solid team. So that one was fun. And I know a lot of people expected like Dylan and Carter to kind of take that one. So seeing Flexible show up and do their thing was a lot of fun.
They kind of actually like, hey, we're a new team, but it's like we're actually good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Sean, I actually really liked the San Diego finals that you partook in.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was my first time competing with Jarrett, but it just felt like we had some good rallies throughout the day in the finals. It was fun. I didn't really have a spectator's perspective, but as a player, I loved it.
As up from like the storylines perspective, it was pretty cool because we had former Wabi Sabi on the opposite teams, and then you who hadn't been playing very much, and then Carter who just kind of came up last year. So it's kind of like that's the first tour stop of the year. That's the finals. That's what we got going on.
It was a little funny. It was cool. It was cool to see Carter.
I'm realizing as we talk through all these that like the worst part about this last season is I was literally playing for 9th place at like every tournament I went to. So like I didn't get to watch any finals live. So that was it's like double disappointment right there.
So what was the best 9th place game, Logan?
There is no such thing as a best 9th place game.
And then he literally also didn't see the Nationals finals because he was competing in his own finals.
For Premier.
Yeah.
Sounds like you either just need to get better or worse, Logan.
Yeah, that's
true.
Exactly
He's right in the
right.
sweet spot of missing everything.
Exactly right.
But then I also wanted to mention that College Nationals was sick this year. Like, those were awesome.
Yeah,
super.
I love. I mean, I almost loved it a lot more, but I still loved College Nationals just in general. Both sides, but were a lot of fun. Just a college. I mean, the college scene just gets me hyped. Like, don't get me started. It's just so much around it, so much cheering, and I feel like there's a lot more like hype and trash talk in the college scene, which I think adds a lot of fun. And there's just because people have those schools to get behind. So I love the college.
It's really cool when you go to a college event and you just see like 30 people with the same jersey, and you're just like, what is happening? Yeah. And then they do like watch and cheer on everyone, which is kind of crazy. Awesome. It's really cool to see. It's really different than what we saw kind of in the past few years with the individual brackets and all that. So having the team aspect is awesome. I'm a big fan. And then I love the two tournaments too. What's up?
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm curious what you guys think just as we develop and keep going year to year with like the addition of Worlds now. Do you think that like the World Championship and we have a College National Championship and we have our regular National Championship, will that take away from the hype of like the original National Championship we had here? Can that hype exist either way?
I think the hype will still be there, but I think honestly, as more countries develop and there are more national championships, like the national championship will be less unique in a sense that every country's having a national championship. But I still think for a lot of the U.S. players and everyone in the U.S., which right now is majority of players, there will still be a lot of hype there. But then I think it'll be compared to a lot more like, oh, okay, they won, so how did other people do? It won't be like they're the best. Which, I mean, it still could be the way that we'd be like U.S. is the best, but I think there'll be a lot more comparison, which will take a little bit of the hype away, but not in a bad way, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of see it as right now when we say like nationals, it really isn't U.S. nationals like it effectively is, but right, although it favors the U.S., right, like a Canadian team could make the Pro Division and be the national champion. Someone from Europe could if they were made of money and could live over here or fly back and forth for every tour stop. They could do it. I think maybe at some point, right, it's not the national championship. Maybe it's the world championship, but not what we're doing currently with the representing your countries. Kind of more of like just the championship. Or as we recognize the SRA as the main pro league, right? It would just be like the SRA Tour Series champion, right? And we'll say that's probably the best team in the world. Maybe separately, there's also a national championship for only U.S. teams. And then, right, that would be where Logan gets at, where there's hype for all these different countries. Maybe just because you win if you win U.S. nationals, you're probably the best. But our best of the best is likely, the winner of that pro division at nationals.
I think it's kind of like, when you look at like the NBA, whoever wins that is like, those are the best players. That's the best team. But then like the Euro League, like they're still solid players. Luka's the best player in the NBA, obviously. So, and we comparatively to that, where like the Tour Series, maybe I like what you're saying, like will be more like a pro league and it'll be kind of seen outside of like countries competing. But yeah, I agree.
I'm very excited for Worlds with the countries represented. Like that's got to get rowdy. I'm telling you, I need to pre-order my US jersey and also my Canada jersey. I'm going to be wearing both. I might get a reversible one, or just do half and half.
Yeah, you should buy both of them, cut them in half, and then just sew them together.
Yeah.
If you're real, you'll do that.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited for the jerseys. That's been like the one thing over the years where like one day there'll be a spike ball and or roundnet USA team that goes and represents. It's going to be badass.
Yeah, I'm real excited. So, Sean, I hear through the grapevine that you're trying to make the World's team.
Yeah, Jared and I are trying to ride the wave of last San Diego and qualify in San Francisco up here. I'm just excited. I knew when I started hearing that there's going to be qualifying tournaments for Worlds that I was going to try one way or another, just because it's been like kind of a lifelong dream of the sport and personally. So I'm stoked that I got to grab someone like Jarrett and make a run for it. We'll see how we do. I'm just going to try and keep up and not get too embarrassed with all these new young guns.
So yeah, I may be mistaken, but I believe that the 5-team like country tournament is done separately than the individual tournament, right? And none of those teams are competing in that. So, maybe I myself will play in Worlds, try to become the world champion.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely should.
I love that like there's the opportunity to just compete in the world championship, maybe not part of the official Team USA team, but able to represent US. Logan, we're gonna play, right?
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what's happening yet.
But to do that, let's chat about Worlds a bit. Well, something I wanted to talk about was the concept of a team getting premiere on Saturday and then playing in the Worlds tournament on Sunday. I'm all for the excitement of that, but realistically, you'd have to think like they're probably going out in the first round, right?
Yeah. They'll be the last seed, so they would get matched up with the top team. So hard to imagine that won't happen. Yeah. But if they do win the first round, that'll be super hype. That'll be awesome.
There's some sleeper pick guy coming in.
Yeah.
Devin Matson.
What's crazy too is that we're not going to know the brackets seeds until the morning of Sunday, just because we have to wait for Saturday to like fill in. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be. It's probably going to be strange for players walking into a tournament that's going to be single elimination and then double elimination. But like their first round, their matchup could be someone that they're totally worried about, but they won't know until the morning of.
Yeah. I'm sure Ben Danowitz will be crunching numbers during the tour stop and like trying to put together the seeds while it's happening.
There'll be some predictions out there.
Yeah. He has all the potentials. Like if they win, they move up to second seed. But yeah, you're in the range of 5 to 6 seed.
Yeah.
Come in.
Which kind of makes it fun.
Yeah.
How do you guys think players will do having no pool play? Just kind of walking straight into bracket, because that's something we've never really done.
Honestly, I just want to see how they warm up, because you typically don't see many roundnet players I know some of you do. I know you do. Not everyone warms up, so I'm just curious to see how they do that. I feel like they just get there a little early and play 2 games because they've never actually like warmed up.
And some players are definitely like, there's players that are pool play players, like they do their best in pool play. There's others that are bracket play. They like warm up during pool play, and then bracket play is kind of when they start going. So it's definitely going to favor the pool play players because they are able to get going earlier.
It's going to take it's just going to take a different mentality. You're going to have to be able to like turn it on in that first round because there's no mistakes.
Of course, you should. I think we'll mostly see it in those middle packs, right? Say there's 8 teams, you're at the 1 versus 8, the 2 versus 7. They should probably win regardless, but that could actually have a big swing in the 3, 6, 4, 5, and if there's more teams, 8, 9, 7, 10, like that.
Yeah.
Being ready and having your body be ready and being awake for it is probably a huge factor. The thing is that I think about is only one team. Like all we care about is the winner. So I know there's going to be a lot of right. I just mentioned like an 8-9 game, a 7-10 game. We don't know if we'll have. I don't know how many we'll have at each qualifier, but like based on roundnet's history, we should probably only be concerned about like seeds 1 through 4.
Yeah, it's true.
Probably safe to assume. But it's kind of your point on the fact that we're only going to be worried about one team just got me thinking. I think up until now, granted, prize pool money hasn't been huge. We don't need to go into that. But what I'm trying to say is I don't think in a finals match 2 teams are like, I want to win this because I want to win the purse at the end. But I think that when the stakes are raised to something like this, I wonder how much more heated it's going to be because this is something that players are going to really, really want. So I think
teams
our observers are going to have to be
more upset about this than other losses, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at during the season, people are ultimately playing for the last couple of years for pro division. So it's like if you get second, that's pretty good. You get a good amount of points, and only a bad team would get second and not make pro division. With this, like, there's no consolation for a second. You get second. You get second. It's like, oh, good job. You tried really hard, and you almost did it, but you failed. Only the winner takes home the prize of worlds.
It's such a weird absolute of like, yep, you won. Yeah. Good luck at the next one, right?
Yeah.
I think the craziest thing if we see a team that just gets like second at like the first 3, and it's like, come on, you got it. Come on, you got it. They're like, oh, we have to go to the next one.
It like breaks my heart just thinking about it.
But I don't know, I'm really excited to see like who gets it because I also don't know who's gonna go to which, right? Like Boisterous may not play in the first West one, so that leaves it wide open. Like say they don't, I don't know what they're doing. It leaves it open for other teams, right? They are signed up?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, right? So we don't know who's going to which. I have a feeling that the top teams will probably just go to all of them to ensure their chance. But also that's a hard thing to do. Not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
The other interesting dynamic here is I think the world qualifier tournaments are going to open up the tour stops on the Saturday before because these top teams either won't be playing in them or won't be like they'll be saving their energy and not going as hard. So we could see some podiums this year of teams that normally wouldn't have before just because there's less competition.
Mm-hmm. Just in those 4, yeah. I think it would be funny. Well, I think something interesting that could happen if like that is the case where teams aren't playing it is whoever qualifies at like the first one, just go to like the next one and you'll probably have a nice free ride to the podium.
Well, it's like CS. If they went to all the Saturdays before qualifier, they're going to have even more of a breeze than they've seen in the past.
But the good thing is we have more of like a better multiplier this year. So, right, there is still the base of 325 points, but there is also a negative multiplier. So, like, if it really isn't a strong event, they won't get as many points. So, at least combats some of that worry about this. Like, we account for the skill of the events with our multiplier and the new negative multiplier. Sure. So, I think that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't. Everyone's kind of saying that the world's like full team is going to be pretty chalk. I think there'll be 2, maybe 3 teams that people just aren't expecting. Mm-hmm. I think just the way the bracket's set up and the way teams play is just a different type of event. I think there'll be some surprising entries into the world's team. I don't think it's going to be as chalky as everyone think it'll be.
I also think like I feel like every year I like think I know how everyone's gonna be, but then like someone got super good in the off season, or these guys work really well together. You know,
Yeah.
like you can. I'll try to right. Oh, you'll have the first PR, and you'll be like, yeah, those five, like they're definitely gonna make Worlds, or those four. But you're right. There could be a team that we originally are like, oh, they're like the ninth best, and they're actually the third best. Right? Like I think there's a lot of fluidity early in the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and similar to like we've been seeing more and more of these sort of relatively unknown players come onto the scene because they've been practicing their serve for 5 hours a day in their backyard. And like that's really the difference these days. If you have a good serve and a decent understanding of the game, you can like compete with the best of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and like as the sport becomes more competitive and more popular, there's more competition. There's more people coming out of the woodwork that you don't necessarily know about that have been going hard, and it's still young enough to kind of keep up and know everyone, but it's getting bigger and bigger to where like there's people coming up in the different regions that are playing, and like they just come on the scene in one off season. They do it because the sport's growing, it's getting more popular. So that's exciting.
All right, so now that I want to talk about 2020, we can talk about personal and for just general people in the community. What if you had to pick like 3-4 events, or if you just want to talk about certain events, like which would you go to? Like, what are your must attends?
I mean, personally, one of my must attends is the Dallas tour stop. That'll be my first time back in Texas since moving. So definitely be playing that, which I'm excited. And then San Francisco tour stop. I'm excited for that first tournament at my new home. And then the Chicago Grand Slam is always one you got to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, I guess Atlanta kind of seems one that I always got to play in as well. So those are 4 that's like I for sure want to play those.
Why do you like playing in Atlanta?
I don't know why I like playing in Atlanta so much. It's just like I don't know. It's one that I think I've played in Atlanta every year since I started playing, and so it's just like I feel like I should. And I mean, this year specifically, it's a qualifier, so it just adds on that. So you get to play for Worlds qualifier the next day. So a little bit of everything. I don't know why. Like I feel like I'm going to play in Atlanta. I think.
Yeah, I'm like okay, Dallas makes sense. Chicago makes sense, and then Atlanta. I'm like okay. Not that Atlanta's not a great tournament. It's just one that typically doesn't. I don't think it's.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just on there for me. And I think I still have to realize that, like, hey, like you actually live on the West Coast now, so maybe play some West Coast tournaments. So I don't think that's clicked yet. So we'll see how that goes.
That's true. Sean, what about you? You playing anything besides San Francisco?
Yes, I'm planning to play. Well, depending on the World's outcome, I told Skylar I would try with him in the Midwest qualifier, but that's outside of my recommendations. My first one is personal, San Francisco. I'm of course going to be at that one just because I live here. But the other 2 that I always look for each year, and I would recommend anyone to go to, is the Santa Monica Grand Slam, just because it's a beautiful beach, it's a great place to be, and Coney Island Summer Spike because of obvious reasons.
Santa Monica is the closest anyone can get to sinking sand, probably. So good experience.
So you don't like Santa Monica?
I hate how deep that sand is. It's very pretty, wonderful place. I love the location. Each step is worth like 10 steps because it's so deep.
So, Sean, the first ever Nationals was at Santa Monica, right?
It was.
Correct.
That's history, Logan. Come on.
Hey, if you've never played at Santa Monica, I think you should play at Santa Monica. I think you should do it. If you played at Santa Monica before, good job. You've done it. You don't have to do it.
Someone can fact check me, but I would wager that Santa Monica is the location we've had the most tournaments at, like sanctioned events. It's just one of those venues we keep going back to because it's got everything.
I think so.
Without fact checking you, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But when I was thinking about this, I kind of had, like Logan mentioned Chicago and you mentioned Summer Spike. I have both those, but I kind of have them separately. I think of like Chicago as like I go there because I like Chicago, where Summer Spike is just kind of like historically being on the beach, Coney Island, and now being in MCU Park. Like it's not just being in New York City, but because I don't know, I'm not a big New York City guy. But it's just a really cool event to go to in general, especially being in the park in the past couple of years has been awesome. But
I mean, Summer Spike has been an event like more than roundnet. It's been like an event overall, which has been really cool. And especially last year, there was some added stuff. Like, I mean,
Lobster
Summer
Trap
Spike is cool,
Lounge.
and there's just as much in history around Summer Spike. I mean, it's one of the oldest run tournaments in the country, and it's been going forever.
Mm-hmm. But outside of that, so I was thinking, I like to stack, or now I go to just random tournaments, but when I first started, it was more of like I want to go to this place because it's a cool city. And for me, I think the ones that stood out were Chicago, DC, and Nashville. Because I feel like DC, I've been there a bunch now, so I'm less intrigued. But the museums are so cool, and if you just haven't been to DC, I think it's a great place to go. Chicago, I love. And Nashville, I think I've always had a good time in Nashville. Just walking down the main street, whatever it's called, I forget. I also like country music.
I think it's
so
Broadway.
It's a little different. Broadway. Yeah, Nashville's pretty cool. So those are like my three as like cool cities. But I think that's how I kind of used to look at it, and still sometimes do. I look at the schedule. I'm like, which cities do I want to go to? Yeah. And then I can play roundnet there too.
Yeah, make a weekend of it.
Yeah, and then of course, gotta go to Natty's. Nationals is wonderful. But also, I'm thinking I think people should attend college nationals, but as spectators. I think it's a great spectator event, and I think people would really enjoy it. I think there will be a lot there tend to be a lot of spectators, so you could probably play a lot of pickup if you wanted to, but it's just a really cool event to go to and spectate.
Plus, watching A&M win this year will be a lot of fun.
A&M win? That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun this year, so I'm personally excited for that.
Yeah. And the tournament we can't forget, World Championship in Belgium. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be an insane week/weekend. I think it's going to be way more than just like a tournament. It's going to be multi-day. Going to be like sort of extracurricular stuff. It's going to be the first of its kind.
Mm-hmm.
And like taking a lot of like what the European scene has done, and like kind of incorporating that. And they've done a lot of cool things with their like multi-day tournaments. So it's going to be cool to see that kind of in this tournament that's worldwide now.
Yeah, it's just going to be so cool just seeing all those people and just all of the interaction. And I think playing with people, I think there are probably going to be some things that we just are like, oh, okay, like not in a bad way, just like learning from how they play or even how they see the game, or maybe there's some different rules stuff. Like I think when Skylar was in Peru, he found they rotated the opposite way than we do. Like every 5 points, and like that's such a little thing, but it's kind of funny that like there are these little things going on because we're all playing the same game, but when you're playing so many miles away, there's going to be little differences that come up.
Yeah.
But look, I've been practicing my Duolingo every language in Prepared for Worlds.
Wow, that's commitment.
Yeah, I know how to say the boy drinks the water in every language. That's not true.
I'm gonna put that to the test.
Yeah, essential life skill.
I think I'll just take the first little chunk of every language, and I'll just be able to say, "Hi, my name is," and that'll be it. They'll be like, "Wow, he speaks this language. What a genius!" I'm
pretty sure that's how that works.
That's how it works, and then I'll avoid them the rest of the time.
You gotta figure it out, Mike.
I think speaking of languages, I'm most curious about what words get translated and what don't. Like pocket, like is pocket called something else, or do they say the word pocket, or other things?
How are they gonna say lobster trap?
Yeah, that's the number one.
Essential.
Yeah,
that's what I was wondering for sure.
That's what you should learn, Mike. How to say lobster trap in every language.
People would love you.
Yeah,
because people don't really like you right now, but they would love you.
Yeah, I'm way down. My stock's way down. But lobster trap in 20 different languages, I'm on the up and up.
You'd be a meme for sure.
But guys, that's what I had on the docket today. So if you guys have any topics you want to talk about, bring it up, or we can wrap this one up a little early. It's been 29 minutes recording, FYI.
I think that's solid. Our first one back. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to discuss in the months to come. I'm just excited. We're back to this. What are we doing? Bi-weekly, Mike?
I think bi-weekly. Which bi-weekly? The bi-weekly that means every other week, not twice a week.
Yeah. But also bi-monthly.
I guess bi-monthly. It depends on the month.
Yeah.
It might be tri-monthly some months.
Ooh, I guess that's true.
It could be.
Yeah.
No, but
That's crazy.
not the tri-monthly. That means every 3 months.
Okay, good.
So
Thanks
for anyone that's
specifying.
confused, it's going to be once every other week.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good. We got to get this one out there so that everyone can be like, hey, that podcast was horrible. You need to talk about these things. And they'll be like, oh, you're right. We'll talk about those things.
Yeah, I was like, should I post like, hey, might record a podcast later if you wanted topics? But I feel like we got to get the clicks on this one.
Yeah.
I can't get the premature clicks about the topics.
Plus, if you get solicited like advice and then you don't take it, you're in trouble. But if we post it, people are going to give their advice and it's unsolicited. So, but then we can take it from there, and it's win-win. Really,
that is something I was thinking of. Like, what if there's just bad topics? Then I'm just a jerk. I don't talk about any of them.
Yeah, so,
we should try and do a couple live ones as well. That's fun.
Yeah. Mike, you can just come over now that Sean and I are in the same place. Take a quick flight.
You guys are at least like 40 minutes apart, though, right?
No. It depends on the time of day. Probably like 30.
Okay, fair. I'm like
maybe
25. 6 hours via
15
flight.
each.
Yeah.
I'll fly in every Wednesday night. We'll record for an hour, and I'll hop right on a plane back. Or meet me at the airport. We'll circle around in a car, and just do it then, and I'll just get back off.
That's perfect.
Okay. All right, guys.
I got to play some roundnet with Logan this week for the first time with him in California,
Yeah.
and I will report he's still got it.
He's still got it.
It's still a lot more I got to get though.
But
We're
anyway,
playing again though.
we can wrap this up now. Thank you all for listening or watching. Like Sean said, hope to do this every other week. I believe this will be on YouTube. YouTube.com. I don't think it's /SRA, but the Spikeball Roundnet podcast or YouTube. Subscribe to that to get more, as well as it should also be on iTunes if you want to listen to it. Not many do. People prefer to see Logan's face. But anyway,
Oh wow.
thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you next time.
What about the like, subscribe, and comment?
Oh yeah, you got it,
Comment?
Logan. You got it.
Smash that like button and subscribe. Did I
Thank
do it
you.
right?
And leave a comment about what was your favorite event last year, and what are you planning on going to this year? That's it.
We need to work on the outro,
Yeah,
boys.
we'll get better. All right, bye guys. I'm saying bye.
I know. I thought we were done.
Okay, we're done now.
I was gonna talk.